Hello, everybody. This is Demographia, and I am finally back. Unfortunately, yeah, this video was supposed to be made over a month ago, but because of problems with my computer and the fact that once those problems were solved, it was too late and I had to go to France for an entire month. Yeah, that's the reason why this video is basically 1 month late. So yeah, basically we're now at the point where I only upload once a month. Anyway, here is the video that I am going to be making about European people. So I'm sure that most of the people who watch this channel are probably European, and yeah, I don't just mean European people here. I also mean like everyone who's descendant from Europeans. Anyway, let's get to the video. Okay, so European people are one of the many races on Earth. European people mainly live in Europe, Oceania, northern North America, and southern South America, with most living in Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Russia, Poland, Belarus, Ukraine, Moldova, Romania, Hungary, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Austria, Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Serbia, Montenegro, Albania, Macedonia, Greece, Bulgaria, Cyprus, Italy, France, Spain, Portugal, Switzerland, Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Germany, the United Kingdom, Ireland, the Vatican City, San Marino, Monaco, Andorra, Liechtenstein, Kazakhstan, Australia, New Zealand, Argentina, Chile, Kosovo, Uruguay, Brazil, Costa Rica, Cuba, Mexico, the United States, and Canada. So yeah, you can see they're basically everywhere. Although people usually use white to refer to people, to European people, it's not always a good term since white is more about skin color than race, and many East Asian people could also be called white. Another term used is Caucasian, but that is a terrible term to use since European people aren't the majority in the Caucasus anyway, and the actual Caucasians are Middle Eastern people, not European people. So, European people are in general relatively tall. Their skin color is extremely light brown. Their eyes are usually black, brown, blue, green, or gray. They have all forms of skulls, and the lower parts of their face don't tend to stick out. They have black, brown, blonde, or red hair that is straight, wavy, or curly. European people are divided into several ethno-linguistic groups, the largest one being the Italic one, followed by the Germanic, Slavic, Celtic, Castizo, Uralic, Greek, Albanian, Baltic, Basque, Maltese, and Gagauz ones. In total, there are around 1,280,000,000 Europeans. So, Italic peoples mainly live in Italy, obviously, France, Spain, Portugal, Romania, Moldova, Costa Rica, Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, southern Belgium, southeastern Canada, western Switzerland, most of Cuba, southern Brazil, southern Paraguay, and parts of the United States, Venezuela, and Colombia. Germanic peoples mainly live in Germany, Austria, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, Iceland, New Zealand, most of Australia, most of the United States, the southern United Kingdom, most of Switzerland, southern Canada, and parts of Brazil and Denmark. Slavic people mainly live in Poland, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Macedonia, Ukraine, Moldova, most of Bulgaria, most of Serbia, most of Russia, and parts of Kazakhstan. Celtic peoples mainly live in Ireland, the northern United Kingdom, and parts of Canada, the United States, France, Australia, and New Zealand. Castizo people mainly live in northern Mexico and parts of the United States. Uralic peoples mainly live in Finland, Estonia, and Hungary, and parts of Russia and Romania. Hellenic people Greek people, mainly live in Greece and Cyprus. Baltic peoples mainly live in Lithuania and Latvia. Albanian people mainly live in Albania and Kosovo. Basque people mainly live in parts of Spain and France. Maltese people mainly live in Malta, and Gagauz people mainly live in parts of Moldova. Out of the European people, around 493 million, or 38.5%, are Catholics, around 326 million, or 25.5%, are atheists, around 237 million, or 18.5%, are Protestants, around 148 million, or 11.6%, are Orthodox, around 22,500,000, or 1.8%, are Muslims, around 3,200,000, or 0.3%, are Mormons, who are people who claim to be Christians but are pretty different. Although they believe in the Trinity, they believe that God is the literal father of all people, that there is a goddess, and that people can become gods. They also believe that they are the true Christians, since the Christians abandoned the true faith, but it was revealed to Joseph Smith in a revelation. Also, although they believe in the Bible, they also believe in other books like the Book of Mormon, Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. Finally, around 3,200,000 or 0.3% are pagans. The largest European ethno-linguistic group are the Italic peoples. There are around 454,500,000 Italic peoples. This means that Italic peoples make up 35.5% of European people. Italic peoples speak Romance languages, which are a part of Indo-European languages. The origins of Italic peoples is in southern Russia. During the Indo-European migration that I discussed in my video about South Asians, Italic peoples were one of the many groups that migrated between around 4200 BC and 4000 BC. They arrived in Hungary before moving out around 3000 BC and arriving in Italy. Out of the Italic peoples, 59.1% are Catholics, 24.2% are atheists, 9.9% are Protestants, 6.4% are Orthodox, and 0.5% are pagans. The largest Italic people are obviously the Italian people. There are around 135,900,000 Italian people. When I say Italian people, I mean the ethnicity, not necessarily the nationality. Italian people obviously mainly live in Italy, but surprisingly, more Italian people live outside Italy than inside Italy. Most of these Italian people live in the northeastern United States, northern Argentina, southern Switzerland, and southern Brazil. Italian people speak many different languages. This might surprise you, since you would think they all speak Italian. However, that's only Italian people in Italy. Other languages Italian people speak include English, Spanish, and Portuguese because many Italian people live in the United States, Argentina, and Brazil respectively. The second largest Italic people are the Spanish people. There are around 95,300,000 Spanish people. When I say Spanish people, just like with the Italians, I mean the ethnicity and not necessarily the nationality. Spanish people obviously mainly live in Spain, but just as with Italian people, more Spanish people live outside of Spain than inside it. However, this makes much more sense when you find out where the rest live. They mostly live in Costa Rica, Cuba, northeastern Colombia, northwestern Venezuela, Chile, southern Brazil, and southern Argentina. Spanish people obviously mainly speak Spanish, with a couple also speaking Portuguese in Brazil. The third largest Italic people are French people. There are around 65,200,000 French people. When I say French people, I mean once again the ethnicity and not necessarily the nationality. French people mainly live in northern France. However, there are also many French people who live in western Switzerland, southern Belgium, southeastern Canada, and southern Argentina. French people obviously mainly speak French, with a couple speaking Spanish, mainly in Argentina. Then there are the Germanic peoples. There are around 332,300,000 Germanic peoples. This means that Germanic peoples make up 25.9% of European people. Germanic peoples speak Germanic languages, which are also a part of Indo-European languages. The origins of Germanic peoples is also in southern Russia. During the Indo-European migrations, Germanic peoples, along with Italic peoples, moved out of southern Russia into Hungary between around 4,200 and 4,000 BC. Then they moved north to southern Scandinavia between around 3,100 and 2,800 BC, where they settled before slowly moving south starting around 750 BC. Out of the Germanic peoples, 45% are Protestants, 28% are atheists, 12% are Catholics, 8% are Mormons, and 6% are Orthodox. The largest Germanic people are obviously the German people. There are around 150 million German people. When I say German people, once again, I mean the ethnicity, not necessarily the nationality. German people mainly live in Germany, but there are just as many German people who live in Germany as outside Germany. The other German people mainly live in Austria, Switzerland, Luxembourg, the northern United States, and southern Brazil. German people speak many different languages. This might surprise you since you'd think they all speak German. However, that's only German people in Europe. Other languages German people speak are English and Portuguese because many German people live in Australia, Canada, the United States, and Brazil. The second largest Germanic people are English people. There are around 119,500,000 English people. English people mainly live in the United Kingdom, but surprisingly more English people live outside the United Kingdom than inside it. Most of these English people live in eastern and western Australia, southern United States, and southern Canada. English people speak English, obviously. The third largest Germanic people are the Dutch people. There are around 30,800,000 Dutch people. When I say Dutch people, again, the ethnicity, not necessarily the nationality. Dutch people mainly live in the Netherlands, but there are more Dutch people who live outside the Netherlands than inside it. Most of these Dutch people live in northern Belgium, the United States, Indonesia, Canada, and South Africa. Dutch people speak many different languages. This might surprise you once again since you think they'll speak Dutch, but other languages people speak include English and Afrikaans because of the Dutch people outside Europe. Then there are the Slavic peoples. There are around 274,600,000 Slavic peoples. This means that Slavic peoples make up 21.5% of European people. Slavic peoples speak Slavic languages, which are a group of Balto-Slavic languages, which are a group of Indo-European languages. The origins of Slavic peoples is once again in southern Russia. Balto-Slavic peoples moved out of Russia into Ukraine between around 4,200 and 4,000 BC. Then they moved north to Eastern and Central Europe around 2800 BC, before moving west and south between around 500 and 700. Out of the Slavic peoples, 41% are Orthodox, 33% are atheists, and 22% are Catholics. The largest Slavic people are the Russian people. There are around 136,300,000 Russian people. When I say Russian people, again, it's the ethnicity, not necessarily the nationality. Russian people mainly live in Russia, but there are also Russian people in eastern Belarus and northern Kazakhstan. Russian people speak Russian. The second largest Slavic people are the Polish people. There are around 53,100,000 Polish people. Once again, the Polish people, ethnicity, not necessarily nationality, blah blah blah. Polish people mainly live in Poland. Polish people also speak many different languages, and this could be surprising since you think they all speak Polish. But another language Polish people speak is English because there are many Polish people in North America. The third largest Slavic people are the Ukrainian people. There are around 37 million Ukrainian people. When I say Ukrainian people, once again, ethnicity, not necessarily nationality, etc. And Ukrainian people mainly live in Ukraine. Ukrainian people speak Ukrainian. Then there are the Celtic peoples. There are around 76,200,000 Celtic peoples. This means that Celtic peoples make up 6% of European people. Celtic peoples actually don't speak Celtic languages, but speak Germanic languages because most of them lived in English-speaking countries for centuries. The origins of Celtic peoples is, once again, in southern Russia. They moved along with Germanic and Italic peoples between around 4,200 and 4,000 BC to Hungary before splitting off and moving towards Central Europe and settling there around 600 BC. Out of the Celtic peoples, 56% are Catholics, 25% are Protestants, 18% are atheists, and 1% are Mormons. The largest Celtic people are the Irish people. There are around 49,100,000 Irish people. When I say Irish people, I mean the ethnicity, again, not necessarily the nationality. Irish people mainly live in Ireland, but there are way more Irish people outside Ireland than inside it. And actually, less than 10% of them even live there, with the rest living in Canada, the United States, Argentina, and Australia. Irish people speak English, which is kind of surprising since you'd think they speak Irish, but the reason they speak English and not Irish is because they've been living in English-speaking countries for centuries. The second largest Celtic people are the Scottish people. There are around 28,300,000 Scottish people. Scottish people mainly live in the northern United Kingdom, but there are more Scottish people outside the United Kingdom than inside it. They mainly live in Canada, the United States, Chile, South Africa, and Australia. Scottish people speak English for the same reason as the Irish. The third largest Celtic people are the Breton people. There are around 7 million Breton people. Breton people mainly live in northwestern France. Breton people speak French. This might surprise you since you think they speak Breton, but the reason they speak French is because they've been part of France for centuries. Then there are the Castillo peoples. There are around 50,900,000 Castizo people. This means that Castizo people make up 4% of European people. Unlike the other ethno-linguistic groups mentioned so far, they aren't really an ethno-linguistic group, but are rather a mix of Europeans and Native Americans. But what makes them different from Mestizo people, who are also a mix of Europeans and Native Americans, is that they're mostly European with some Native American blood, usually 75% European and 25% Native American, which is why I'm not putting them in my mixed race video, which I'll make later, but in the European video since they are basically European. Castizo people speak Spanish and English. The origins of Castizo people is in the late 16th century in northern Mexico. Spanish people arrived in northern Mexico and mixed with the Native Americans there. But unlike the rest of Mexico, there weren't too many Native Americans, and so instead of the people becoming mestizo people, they created a new castizo ethnicity, which was more European than Native American. Out of the castizo people, 82% are Catholics, 10% are Protestants, and 8% are atheists. Then there are the Uralic peoples. There are around 16,800,000 Uralic peoples. This means that Uralic peoples make up 1.3% of European people. Uralic peoples speak Finno-Ugric languages, which are a part of Uralic languages. The origin of Uralic peoples is also in southern Russia around 2000 BC. They moved to Scandinavia around 100. Out of the Uralic peoples, 41% are Protestants, 29% are Catholics, 23% are atheists, and 7% are Orthodox. The largest Uralic people are the Hungarian people. There are around 10,300,000 Hungarian people. When I say Hungarian people, I mean the ethnicity, not necessarily the nationality. Hungarian people mainly live in Hungary and central Romania. Hungarian people speak Hungarian. The second largest Uralic people are the Finnish people. There are around 5,500,000 Finnish people. When I say Finnish people, once again, it's the ethnicity, not necessarily the nationality. Finnish people mainly live in Finland. Finnish people speak Finnish, and this video is finished. No, just kidding. The third largest Uralic people are the Estonian people. There are around 900,000 Estonian people. When I say Estonian people, once again, the ethnicity, not necessarily the nationality. And Estonian people mainly live in Estonia, and Estonian people speak Estonian. Then there are the Greek people. There are around 12,100,000 Greek people. So again, the Greek people are the same as everything else. I already repeated it like 10 times, so I'm not going to say it again. So what this means is that Greek people make up 0.9% of European people. Greek people mainly live in Greece and Cyprus. Greek people speak Greek, an Indo-European language. The origin of Greek people is again in southern Russia. They moved with many other Indo-European groups into Hungary between around 4,200 and 4,000 BC, and then they moved south and settled in Greece around 3,200 BC. Out of the Greek people, 95% are Orthodox, 4% are atheists, and 1% are Catholics. Then there are the Albanian people. There are around 8,400,000 Albanian people. When I say Albanian people, once again, it's the same thing, yada, yada, yada. This means that Albanian people make up 0.7% of European people. Albanian people mainly live in Albania and Kosovo. Albanian people speak Albanian and Turkish. This might surprise you since you think they all speak Albanian. However, there are a lot more Albanian people outside Albania than inside it, and most of these Albanian people live in Turkey. The origin of Albanian people is once again in southern Russia. Moved with all the other guys, Hungary, 4,200, 4,000 BC, etc., and then they moved into Albania by 1200. Out of the Albanian people, 72% are Muslims, 12% are atheists, 8% are Catholics, and 12% are Orthodox. Then there are the Baltic peoples. There are around 3,600,000 Baltic peoples. This means that Baltic peoples make up 0.3% of European people. Baltic peoples speak Baltic languages, which are a group of Balto-Slavic languages, which are a group of Indo-European languages. The origin of Baltic peoples is once again southern Russia, and yeah, they've moved with all the other guys. I keep saying this again and again. Anyway, they moved toward the Baltic between around 3,500 and 2,500 BC. And out of the Baltic people, 64% are Catholics, 19% are atheists, 14% are Protestants, and 3% are Orthodox. The largest Baltic people are the Lithuanian people. There are around 2,400,000 Lithuanian people. Once again, when I say Lithuanian people, I mean ethnicity. Lithuanian people mainly live in Lithuania, and they speak Lithuanian. The second largest Baltic people are the Latvian people. There are around 1,200,000 Latvian people. Once again, Latvian means ethnicity, etc. And so Latvian people mainly live in Latvia and speak Latvian. Then there are the Basque people. There are around 2,600,000 Basque people. This means that Basque people make up 0.2% of European people. Basque people mainly live in northern Spain. Basque people speak Basque and Spanish. This might surprise you since you would think they all speak Basque. However, it's because Basques have been part of Spain for centuries. The origin of Basque people is pretty unknown. Some say they're related to Italic peoples, others say they're related to Celtic peoples, and others say that they're related to Middle Easterners, but most people agree that the origin is unknown. Out of the Basque people, 72% are Catholics and 28% are atheists. Then there are the Maltese people. There are around 500,000 Maltese people. Maltese people mainly live in Malta, and they speak Maltese and Italian. This might surprise you since they'll think they all speak Maltese, but a lot of them speak Italian because they're very close to Italy. And the origins of Maltese people is actually in the Middle East around 3800 BC. Maltese people then moved into Malta from North Africa between around 800 and 900. Out of the Maltese people, 89% are Catholics. And finally, there are the Gagos people. There are around 150,000 Gagos people. Gagos people mainly live in southern Moldova. Gagos people speak Gagos, a Turkic language. The origin of Gagos people is actually Mongolia between around 200 BC and 200. However, nobody knows at what time they settled in Moldova, and there are 21 different theories. The most popular ones are that they are descendants of Turks who came there from between around 1200 and 1300, and that they are descendants of Bulgarians who came there between around 600 and 700. Out of the Gagos people, 93% are Orthodox. And that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to take the poll to say which group is your favorite. So as you can see, there are a lot of different European ethno-linguistic groups. Europeans are very diverse race, just like East Asians. Yeah, that's why both of these videos have been very long, because there's so many different groups. While like the first one, South Asians, well, there aren't that many South Asian groups. But yeah, they're very diverse, so don't forget to take the poll, vote who's your favorite, and write the We Was comments down below. Thank you, and goodbye.